Good, guys? Nothing but straight energy. You know what it is. Who you need to know. Entrepreneur series, man. And today we have Leslie. Okay? So let me go ahead and send this out. First and foremost, I'm going to send it out to Leslie. Okay. We're going to get started here. You just got to send this out. To the ones who need to know, man. I really been appreciating all of the support. For real, man. I've been getting a lot of great feedback about these series. And that's what it's about, man. It's about continuing to push past the noise, man, and do the things that we know we need to do to keep it going, right? So let me see here. Okay, I see you in here, Miss Leslie. Tapped it about 3 times, so hopefully it does right. Let's see.
Hey.
Hello, audio sound good for me?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay, yours sound great as well. So first and foremost, I appreciate you for coming on here, sharing
Yeah.
your story. I'm gonna let you know I don't do the fluffy questions. I'm gonna get the
Okay.
real deal questions, what's really gonna help you connect to the people, right?
Great.
So without further ado, I would love for you to introduce yourself and just tell everybody how you transform people's lives every day.
Yeah, I love that. So I'm Leslie Stegemeyer. I'm a mom and a business owner in Dallas Fort Worth. And most of what I do is help friends and family in Dallas Fort Worth. But in the last year, I've transitioned into helping people relocate primarily from other states to the Dallas Fort Worth area. And it's been a really fun adventure. And yeah, how do I sound, by the way?
Now you sound good.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and it's family. Usually it's families. Sometimes I never meet them before they buy the home. They just trust me to do everything, take all the steps, take from A to Z, and that's the biggest honor too.
Okay, dope. And that was amazing too. And another reason I do these calls too is I want people to know that like your brand is a story people tell about you, when you're
Yeah.
not in the room. And I'm sure you get so many people who come to you word of mouth and they say, hey, this person said this, and it aligns so well with your brand because I can tell that you're being true to, who you are. So that's always going to be inevitable, right?
Oh, for sure.
So I want to know what made you want to help families specifically instead of just focusing on luxury or investor clients.
Um, I I think well, investors, God love them. That's just not my jam. That takes um, a lot more, I would say, grit,
Mm,
because it's the emotional aspect. It's like watching people go into a home and they're going to live there, and like I'm
mm,
a mom, and I've been doing this long before I was a mom. I think it's the connection and helping them like achieve the dream, because even from day one, like 11 years ago, I do love sellers, and I'm like 50-50 sellers versus
mm.
buyers. There's just something about a family buying a home that at the end of the day, you get like everything. Of course, we get a paycheck, but our bucket being filled, for me, it's filled so much more with families and watching littles, get into a home and be excited about it.
So what have been some of the biggest, right? And I'll say biggest, not lucrative right now, but like biggest things that you've been involved in when it comes to like a family. Like maybe if it was a family who almost wasn't able to close, and then something turned around, like, and they told you like, oh my God, you really helped us. We thought we weren't gonna be able to, but you helped us close. One of those type of stories.
Man, I'm trying to think. I can't think of a story off the top of my head. But I feel like what I always tell people, I have two real estate flexes. And one is because I'm a numbers person. I can make any house a praise for what I tell you, because
Mm,
I wouldn't have told you that number. So like I rarely have an appraisal issue because of that. So that's my number one real estate flex. My second real estate flex is like, I think half of my job is being a firefighter. So I don't have a lot of problems. And that's because I've done this so long and I've seen so many hard things that I'm 3 steps ahead in every transaction. So I already know. Honestly, the hardest transactions are one that involve death or divorce. But as far as people buying, it's always so smooth because like I know what's going to happen here. Like we have such a rollout of like what they need to do, what's going here. Most recently, they weren't a family, but it was a young couple buying their very first home, and they wanted to buy an older home in a certain neighborhood. And because I know how older homes go, especially in Texas, I will, you need to watch out for this. We need to watch out for that. And we were about to terminate, and we were able to get them closing costs to
Mm-hmm.
pay for a lot of to replumb the house underneath. And I don't know if you, that is crazy expensive. Um, and then I helped them get insurance on those pipes, like a second warranty plan, because of the doing it so long and knowing Texas and our land and our soil and our foundation and all of that. So,
Mm-hmm.
does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And I know, I understand too, like there's a lot of, there might be like a lot of jargon and stuff that I might not understand or people might not understand, but you're doing a very good job at, explaining it to the best of your
Yeah.
ability. I want to ask you this, right? First off, how did you actually get into real estate? Was it a situation where, all right, you started, you heard about it, you tried it, and you stopped, and then you started back? Like, what was that like? Or did you just jump all the way in and say, hey, I'm not letting this go. This is what I'm doing?
No, this is a great question because in true transparency, this is my third career. When I was about 20, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And so I wanted to make more money. So I actually became a massage therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And then at 23, I saw everyone graduating college and I was like, no, no, I will not be left behind. So I enrolled in college and I did massage therapy to pay for that. And I have a master's in accounting. I was going the CPA route. I worked for a public firm and I did taxes and they made this little yapper, because I'm a yapper girl, sit still all day. And I could not do that. I got very depressed. So I actually just quit with no plan. And
Mm-hmm.
that summer, I interviewed people in their careers, which I suggest people do, or just in entrepreneurship. I had a list of questions like, what's your stress level? How many hours do you work? What's your income? What's your growth? And I had a plan. And a woman, I actually saw her today. She was a friend of a friend, and she was like, you should put real estate on that list. And I thought, okay, I never thought of it. And then I interviewed her. And sometimes my running joke is that I was tricked into real estate because I left a very high stressful job. Real estate is high stress, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like with anything entrepreneur, you wake up every day. I don't know about you or other entrepreneurs. I wake up every day and I think, how are we going to eat in 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
Because today's bills are paid. Nothing's guaranteed. There is no guarantee. There's no contract. There's this, and so I'm always 6 months ahead in my mind, thinking about having the plan because you never know what's going to happen. So, but what's funny is when I jumped into real estate, I might be, and I've been told maybe that I have a touch of ADD, but
Mm-hmm.
never diagnosed. I want to make that clear. Um, this beautiful world of real estate, it can be really fun, really exciting, but it is like an organized chaos. And so the person that likes the analytical side, I
Mm-hmm.
get fed there. The talking to people, helping people, I get fed there. And there is no real, I have to make the schedule, which is as beautiful and chaotic as any business owner and entrepreneur can attest to. But whatever these ingredients or this makeup is really works. And I think I like a little bit of risk. I think every business
Yeah.
owner entrepreneur likes risk. And I will tell you this, every job I've ever had, even being a massage therapist, I either worked on tips, I worked on commission. And so the harder I worked, the more reward I typically had. It's not always the case. And that was what my favorite thing about real estate was, is I could kind of control it, because what I can control is how hard I work, and how much I learn about my industry or learn about marketing, which basically real estate is mostly marketing. You have to
Yeah.
market yourself and your clients' homes.
Yeah.
So
And I can tell too, we have a lot in common with that because, like, even with me, even getting you on here, it was outreach, from a DMing.
yeah,
Like, DMing on Instagram has completely, changed my life and changed my business. And just like, you just have to, like, you were just talking about, like, just client acquisition as a whole. Like, every day, you should be communicating with at least, I'll say, 20 to 50 people on your platform, some type of way, because I feel like the more and more, because we talk about marketing, right? You have the awareness stage, the decisions, well, awareness, consideration, and the decision stage, right? So how many people am I making aware that I even exist in my field, today? And I feel like just that risk that you was talking about, there is a lot of risk, but I feel like having that risk, but understanding that there's a formula that I can follow, that even when things slow down, I'm going to do these things. These are what I'm going to do
Yeah.
no matter what. So, speaking of that, right? What are some bulletproof things that you have found out that has helped you even in those slow seasons, right? In those seasons where, hey, the bills are paid today. What about tomorrow? What were the things that you did in the middle and the in between that just continued to yield you results, even if it wasn't immediate?
So at the gym, there's two things I want to say. At the gym I go to right now on the wall, they change it every month. It says like life rewards, not what we want, but like our what we do every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Wow.
not our motivation, but our systems, basically,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, because motivation will fade. Um,
Yeah.
and I'll be honest, I'm not perfect. Like, I can sometimes work 3 12-hour days, and then I'm like, you know what? I need to work 3 5-hour days because that's too much. But I actually was in a business planning class today, and they were talking about regarding marketing.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing to hunt versus plant?
Mm-hmm.
Because planting, they're both important, but planting, those crops will not yield till down the road. So if you need to eat today, like, what are you willing to do today? And I think when I started, just one more thing, when I started in real estate, I started with another friend, or she says she followed me, but I don't really know if that's true.
Mm-hmm.
She was a single mom, and we approached it, which I think how you have to approach entrepreneurship is there is no failing. Failing is not an option. So if failing is an option, you will not do what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
But like if your kid was sick and you needed to make X amount of dollars in the next 30 days, you're going to sell a car. You're going to so hunting activities. That's the hunting activities, and I mean that could be the cold outreach. So
Mm-hmm.
mostly what I would do is reach out to the people that I've already taken good care of
Mm-hmm.
and just ask them directly, like check in on them because I do
Mm-hmm.
care and I call them regularly. The funny thing is, I've been doing this so long and this is kind of who I am as a person. I end up making friends with most of my clients. So
Wow.
I know. Do you know
Thank.
how many dinners I have to go to in a month to catch? Because they're like, we haven't seen you. And I'm like, I know, because I have loved so many people. And this is just who I am. I go to their baby showers. I go to their kids' baby showers. I mean, I would go anyways. It's not for work. I genuinely love people. But sometimes my calendar just gets a little full with being a single mom
Mm-hmm.
of all my catch up dates. But I would say it's the aggressiveness. I mean, I would be out there looking for sell by owners if that came to it. It's not my favorite. They don't really already want to hire me, and they kind of want to work with people that already respect what I do and want to hire me, or see the value. I guess nobody wants to hire a realtor if they don't have to, but they see the value in it and what we bring to the table and how we negotiate and properly take care of them so that they're protected whether they're buying or selling. So hunting activities are the more aggressive, like how can I end the next 30 days versus I send out a calendar magnet once
Mm-hmm.
a year. And every time I go to a listing appointment, I see my face on the fridge and I'm like, yep, because I was there all year long. So,
Okay. Okay. Most definitely. So let's talk about this, right?
okay.
One thing that I always talk about is personal branding. Personal branding is involved. If you're on social media, you have a personal brand, whether you know it or not, right? So, how has you learning more about personal branding, right? And what are some things that you implemented into like building your personal brand that you've noticed has really helped you build trust with your clients?
Um, I'm actually going to share on something that happened today. And I would say personal branding is hard because, and not hard, not hard, feeling confident and comfortable in my brand. Yes, a brand is important, but is it authentic to you? Am I going to keep something up for the next 10 years that wipes me out at the end of the day? Because I think we all have a lot of facets, or I call them versions of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this very, like the real version of me just wants to tell jokes on stage and has, but like that's not going to pay my bills. It's not going to pay my bills.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but my personal brand, I used to think I wish I could show you my first headshot. I look
Mm-hmm.
like a 1980s, like, that was my idea of what a realtor was like. And then I was told, no, you can dress however you want. You can be yourself. So starting from back then, I actually hired a coach this year
Mm-hmm.
to learn about Instagram. I know enough about everything to know what I don't know, and I'm not arrogant to think that I know everything or that this is it. And I'm willing to invest in myself, which I think is huge, and I think entrepreneurs should be willing to do that. I will
Yeah.
say the return so worth the money. But during that, I kept telling him, well, I can't, I don't have a quote unquote family anymore. I used to, but now it's just me and my daughter. I can't, you post stuff about your family. I don't even have anyone to film me with my daughter. Like, it's very different. And we went over some people that I admire in real estate. And he was like, do you follow this person? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, she is like a badass single mom. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, okay. Even just earlier this year, I had it in my idea that people wouldn't want to work with me if they knew that I was more silly, more
Mm-hmm.
funny, that I needed to be the CPA, the accountant, very uptight version,
Corporate.
especially yeah, if I was selling to families or luxury, right? Um, but just today, I actually had a DM, an inbound, not an outbound message.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked for my guide. I reached out. By the way, you need to reach out to everyone that follows you. You need to say hello, introduce yourself, see how you can help them. I checked in on her, and she wrote me back, and she said, I follow a ton of Dallas Fort Worth realtors. She said, I would like to get to know you better and work with you because I appreciate your authenticity about your journey, especially about sobriety and what you've been through and how you're a strong, empowered woman. And I talk about my sobriety like it ain't no thing because it helps people to
Same.
understand like every people. My favorite thing is there's so many people today that don't know that version of me because it's been 11 years since I had a drink of alcohol. And she was not a bad person. She was just a messy person.
Mm-hmm.
She got a master's degree during that time. She was accomplished, but she was a wreck and just didn't uphold responsibilities, etc. And I share my story, and I would share no matter what. That because I think it's super important that people know that you can change, your family can change. There's
Yeah.
hope, and I want to give that. But at the same time, that could derail my business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people could have there are probably people out there that wouldn't work with me. Um, but the best part is I get to be me. I get to
Mm-hmm.
be authentic.
Yeah.
Um, and so actually, like if anybody goes and looks at my page, you can see the transition of how good I've gotten at Instagram.
Yeah.
We can go laugh together, but then you could see how I got good at it, and then you can see in the last 60 to 90 days, I leaned into posting more about me than just
Mm-hmm.
Texas and why she moved to Texas. Because when I actually had calls with people, I wanted them to go to my Instagram page and be able to see me and who
Mm-hmm.
I am. And that told me that post was 30 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
She scrolled, she looked, and I, it was just, I guess, an honor. And it just confirmed that I'm doing the right things.
Yeah.
Um, and I get to be me. I don't
Mm-hmm.
have to pretend to be a version of me that's not real to get business.
Wow. Yo, I've been saying this for the last 2 weeks, right? Your shadow self and the persona, right? So it's persona versus shadow self. The persona is who we think we have to show up as on Instagram. The shadow
Mhm.
self is like the person that you said, the one who wants to get on stage, who want to crack jokes, who want to do these things, right? So when you do the persona, you burn out. But when you just be that shadow self, the self that people usually hide from social media, that's where you can thrive. And this is what I want to say too. A lot of times we think that, hey, the success of my business is gonna come from me being able to just work with everybody. But I learned that if you try to market to everybody, you market to nobody. So the game is always, you always hear the riches are in the niches, right? It's the same way. Like when you specialize, right? Let's just talk about even specializing in the sense of being me. Like if I'm being me on social media, it's going to attract the people who would naturally be drawn to me if it had nothing to do with my business, right? So just like your friend group, I don't want to be friends with everyone. I want to be friends with the people who organically connect to me and we match, right? And I feel like it's the same thing. Like you have to be synonymous with your personal brand, and you don't want to work with people who's going to cause headaches. You don't want to work with people where you feel like you got to perform to communicate with them. That's not a lifestyle that you would want to have, right? So it's not even about, oh, how can I make the most money? It's how can I provide the most impact? I can provide the most impact being
Mhm.
me, right? Leslie can provide the most impact being herself, right? So I want to ask you this, right? Because you talked about you having a mentor in different areas, right? How paramount have mentors been at helping you change like your paradigm, like as far as thinking?
Oh, I, the coaching insurmountable. So I've hired some coaches are going to be bad. Some it depends on the program and like your goals, and some were honestly a waste of money. But the ones who get you, or the ones who are good at what they do, and I think listen to you. It's like what you just basically. It's a perception shift.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know, but this particular coach, I don't even think he liked me that much, to be honest, because I just don't think I was his vibe. I wasn't his best student. I told him from the jump, I was like, I'm a slow learner. I'm an elder millennial. So like learning technology. I was like, but I said, I know how I operate. Once I get it, I'll get it. It just
Mm-hmm.
took me twice as long to get it as his younger realtor students. But once something clicks in my brain, and now I just don't have time to make enough
Mm-hmm.
content, honestly. But the shift that I could that I would um, gave me permission.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
To go and do in confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So that particular investment probably will continue for itself, pay for itself 100 times fold for sure.
Wow. I had someone yesterday, her name is Coach Sheila, and I was asking her about some of the same things about like mentorship, but the bad ones, right? And she said, honestly, I feel like even the bad mentors, I paid for the lesson, right? So
Ooh.
even in having those bad mentors, it was still a lesson that was ordained, for me to learn, right? And I feel like that's so powerful because it's just like if you have this mindset that even if it was a bad situation, there is something that I'm learning from this. There is something that I'm pulling from this. There's always something to be learned, and it's a very vital thing to have in your personality is being coachable, right? Because you can
Mhm.
have the best coaches and just not be coachable, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when you are coachable, even when you have bad coaches, like that's that mindset of being a coachable person is like, first off, you like if you're anything like me, even if I have a bad coach, the first thing that I say is not if the coach is bad. Like you just said, you was telling the person like, yo, like I learned this type of way. I might not be the brightest student and stuff like that. Like when you have this mindset that you're looking at self first, that's a very good trait to have that translates, into everything, right? So I want to say this. We talked a lot about being like your authentic self, right? And
Hmm.
I feel like there's a certain level of becoming that you have to go through in order to be who God called you to be, right? So was there ever a time in your life where you just had not even just business, you just had this aha moment of, hey, when I'm going out and about, I feel like I'm not being myself. I feel like I'm conforming just so that I can be accepted, right? And now I'm choosing now, like no matter what it is, business, social media, whatever, I'm gonna lead with Leslie. I'm gonna lead with who I am. Have you ever had that experience?
I don't know. That's a hard question for me
Yeah.
because like as 100%, I'm sure I have, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm like 100% extroverted and don't know how to not talk to strangers. And it's not that I'm not confident. I would say that the time I feel the most like that, this is gonna sound silly. If anybody can relate, please hit me up. But um, motherhood, like
Oh yeah, talk about that.
so I can walk into a room of, or like maybe ultra smart people, like the smartest of the smart. Because I can like hold my own with just about anybody. So like, and I can make almost anybody laugh. So I can make you laugh, but we're good. We're going to be friends. Everything's going to be fine. Motherhood and other mothers, I have this sense of comparison. Like I have this joke that I'm a B minus mom. And I feel like I'm a B minus mom because my mom was real reserved. She only wanted to be at home. She was very like, and I'm a good mom. I need you to know that. But like, and we do the sports and we do all that, but we're gonna forget some stuff. And I forgot my kid had a soccer game on Saturday. Okay. The
Okay.
coach was like, "You okay?" I was like, oh my gosh, it's not our bye week. Um, but even when my daughter went to like this Mother's Day out program when we were little, I just was always like in my head, like, oh, those are the real moms. Like
Mm.
they were born to be moms. And I just somehow became a mom. And they're not going to like me and I'm not as good a mom as them. And why that's the one thing I feel like is insecure about around other moms, I have no, it plagues me to this day that like they're not going to like me or they're going to just, I have no idea. I have this weird like judgment. And so that's the only place. I don't know what's it. I don't know if that was the right answer because most other things I can talk to anybody where like I genuinely like people and I don't feel an insecurity, but that's the one thing. You got anything on that for me?
I feel like this, right? The more and more we're just in tune, right, with who we are, because I deal with a certain level of, just insecurity. Like I'm the type of person, right? I'll go to a networking event and then I'll say something to somebody or I'll connect with all these people, and then later I'll sit to myself and I'll be like, was I too forward? Did I do that? Or did I say the right words? Did I say the right things? Like overthinking, right?
Mhm.
So I feel like sometimes like us overthinking, it will push us to think that we weren't performing well, but just the fact that you did the thing, right? Just the fact that you
Mhm.
attacked whatever it is, like that's the place that you want to be, and that's the place. Like I go back to you being coachable, right? And the fact that you even have the desire to, the fact that you can even think that somebody's a better mom, or the fact that you're thinking like that
Mhm.
is letting you know that you're very in tune with wanting to be better, right?
Mhm.
And so I think that that's just a good space to be in. So I just feel like as long as we stay in those places where we're auditing ourselves, right? This conversation lets me know that you're the type of person that focuses on you, in the sense of you're not pointing your fingers at everybody else. You're gonna point your fingers at you first and
Oh,
focus on, like, how can I become better, right? And you doing it, you do it naturally. Like that's not even something that you're doing, and like that's just how you are. That's just how you was raised, right? So I want to ask you this, right? You are in a very competitive market. Would
mhm.
you say that?
Yeah.
Okay. So with you being in a very competitive market, right? What have you noticed that you've been able to do to compete, or to make sure you don't get lost, in the noise of everything that you're doing, while also being a single mom?
Yeah, one thing I am now working on is just systems. That's the one thing I'm lacking as a person who would rather just be talking to you here right now than like
Mm-hmm.
organize and work on systems. I'm working on it. It's an ever growing thing because it's the thing that I think it's that discipline,
Mm-hmm.
motivation versus discipline. Um, I would say it's a few things. It's the entrepreneurial spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Like you either have it or you don't. Like you're going to do it or you're not. Um, and so like the drive, but also um I don't know, like it's hard to answer, getting up every day, taking care of people. I don't know, like I don't know, I feel like I've got lost in that answer, in that question and that answer, but
So, like, it's a competitive market, right? With,
mhm.
with real estate. So, do you even think about it being competition, or when you think about everything you're doing, you're in your box? Like, I'm not. I don't see these other people. I don't see
Yeah,
this. I'm in this
great.
box.
Yes, okay, I'm back with you. Okay,
Okay.
so I have a lot of friends that are realtors. I have some that became realtors and then they just popped off. It is really hard to not compare. And sometimes it's just that they were already living in a very nice area that was growing. So
Mm-hmm.
boom, they were gonna just, and they had all the right ingredients, I like to call it. For me, what I've had to do literally is I say stay in my lane, but like put on blinders. I had to unfollow that particular friend. She is the
Mm-hmm.
sweetest, kind of soul. She don't even live in really like she's like an hour north in like this rich area, and that's wonderful. And like she's killing it, and she has a very driven husband who like pushes her, and they're amazing people. I have nothing bad to say. But it got to where it's like the comparison is the thief of joy. And so it is so easy to compare my what my business looks like to somebody else's. It's
Oh
going to be
yeah.
wildly different. So only thing I think about um, is my business for the next 12 months. And am I doing better? Am I reaching my goals? And sometimes it's not always monetary. Do I want to pull back and focus on health, pull back and focus on mom? When I was getting divorced, that would look like a very different year. And also someone's 100% is not the same. Like my 100% going through a divorce in real estate and in taking care of my health, which at some point it did focus into taking care of my mental and physical health, is just going to look different than there was a girl in the coaching program I did because it was like 16 weeks. And I asked my coach, I was like, how is she killing it? Like, she is killing it. And he said, Leslie, she's 23 with no children. She can work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I was like, you're right. Those are not my variables. My
Mm-hmm.
variables look very different. I already have an established book of business that takes up a lot of hours in a week. I have the child I take care of most of the time. And while we're both learning a new skill, I don't have time to make as much content, book as many calls, be on Instagram as long. But I probably will sell more than her this year because I already had she shouldn't compare herself to me, somebody who's been in the business 11 years. So just staying in, you hit the nail on the head. I cannot look out of my lane. Like it's like a horse in a race. Like blinders, just straight ahead. And I don't want to be jealous of my friends in real estate.
Yeah.
Like I want to be I'm supportive. And when I'm in a place of abundance and everything's fine, I can be supportive. I can be so thrilled they're
Yeah.
millionaires. You know,
Yeah.
when I'm going through divorce and I'm coming from a place of lack and I'm scared, and all that does not hurt her business. Only business that hurts is mine. There have been so many perception shifts in the last few years with the market downturn and my personal story of like having to reset those personal um, perception shifts a lot. I'm in a really great place right now, but that's because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I'm enjoying learning Instagram and marketing on
Oh
Instagram.
yeah, I love Instagram.
It's so fun. And the bills are paid, and I know the bills are going to be paid for the next 6 months at least because I've got that all mapped out. So um, it it does. It starts slow. I had a friend. Can I say something? Share something?
Oh yeah, come on.
Great. So I was in a dark place just earlier this year, like trying to
Mhm.
like when I was took off on Instagram. I studied Instagram
Mm.
because I knew that I knew video you have to do something. I knew all that, and I was in a really depressed kind of place. Not I don't know, just I don't know, it was an episode, I don't know, and I just was like, what's the point? Like none of this is working.
Oh yeah.
This is probably 9 months ago, 6 or 9 months ago. It's been a long time. And I was talking to a friend who used to be miserable, and she's happy now. And I was like, "How did you get happy?" Like I did. I needed, and I needed to not be unhappy for like a day or two to get the perception shift. And that conversation I had with her jump started the entire rest of my life. That little conversation because I said, how did you get happy? How did you go from the most miserable person I knew to this person who wakes up at 5 a.m. and goes to yoga and like videotapes it because she's young
Mhm.
and fun? And she was like, well, it started with, I said they're miserable and I was like, what can I do? And she said, I thought to myself, one thing I can do is take down my blackout curtains and let the sun come in the morning. And she said, it was like this big of a task. And then what could she do in a few weeks? And she did one small. She made her bed. She started making her bed because she said she always wanted to make her bed, but she never did because she lived in chaos. And it wasn't just doing the little things. She said she tried to find joy in every day, even when there was none,
Mhm.
because the building of the joy. So like my new thing we have like bi-weekly calls about joy, like,
Mhm.
and so I try to find joy in my coffee because I love my coffee in the morning
Mhm.
versus just like having coffee. And that like neuroscience of like doing that in your brain over time, I
Mhm.
think, along with everything else, is how I'm here now. And so,
That's amazing because I feel like gratitude is a major factor in joy because number one, when you're moving and shaking and you're doing the thing when you're not looking at life through this box of where you are and you are comparing yourself to everything, you never put yourself in a state where I'm able to just look around me right now and realize how grateful, how many things around me that I have to be grateful for, right?
mhm,
The mere fact that I can connect with you, or I've never seen you a day in my life. We probably never be in the same place at the same time. Who knows? But we have this time and looking through this device that we even could afford to have this device, right? the computer, the fact that we are in a state of time where we can leverage AI, we can use AI, different things at different times that people couldn't use. Like it's just so many different things around us to be grateful for, right? We live in a country where it's easy to just go buy a bottle of water, you know, like just all of the different things like that. And it's just like when you wake up in the morning, just imagine waking up in the morning and immediately when you're waking up, you're just looking around like, oh my God, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. Like the depression and stuff like that, it's gonna get harder for that type of stuff to come in because a lot of times when you get depressed, well, I'll just speak for me. A lot of times when I used to get depressed, it came from comparing myself or feeling less than or feeling like I'm on this certain time clock where at this age I should have had X, Y, and Z, and you know all of those different things like that. But when you shut that noise and you kill the clock and you really realize that, hey, this is my story, right? It's not the next person's story. Think about if we're all taking a test right now, right? I'm not looking at the other person's paper like, look at how well they're getting this math problem, right? I'm over here locked in on mine trying to, okay, remember my notes. I've been studying for this. I'm focused on where I am, right? And at the end of the day, if you have a person who is trying to look over there or whatever, they're just trying to cheat on the test and stuff like that, that'll be the person who will never figure it out for themselves. And think about when that person have kids or anything like that. How can they show them something if they just try to cheat their way through the process? Everybody's going to go through pain. We're going to always go through difficult things. I would much rather go through the difficult things and learn what God set out for me to learn than to get in those situations to keep having to learn it, and never
Yes.
actually learn it. I'm in a position to learn it, but I'm not taking time to, learn it, right? So I want to ask you this. Out of everything that we talked about, right now on this live, right? It doesn't have to be about business. It doesn't have to be about social media. It can be about whatever you want, right? Is there something that you feel in your heart that you want to share that you feel like the people need to hear and you would feel like, oh my God, if I get off this live and I don't say this, I feel like it didn't matter. I be asking some crazy questions.
Yeah, no, it's great. Say it one more time.
So pretty much something that you feel like you need to share and you
Yeah.
will look back on this live if you didn't share it like, dang, I should have said that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. So about the same time that I was getting sober, I went through this like emotional intelligence kind of like therapy-ish kind of thing that changed my life. Had nothing to do with getting sober. They just coincided. And the thing that they always talked about there was like that we just get this one life.
Mm.
Like this is not a dress rehearsal. This isn't practice. Every day matters, whether it's for your family, your friends. Um, so I would say the biggest one is you get this one life, go do the thing, get over the cringe, get over the whatever, follow what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, the reason I accepted this invitation is I
Mm.
hate a camera being pointed at me. Hate it. Can't film myself. You'll look. There's hardly anything in me talking because I turn into a weirdo. But I can have this conversation with you because it feels like I'm talking to a friend. Was
Wow.
to kind of overcome that because what do y'all care? Like, what does it matter? I'm personally trying to get over everything I want is on the other side of cringe. You know,
Yeah.
like I saw a TikTok. It's like everything you want is on the other side of embarrassment. And
Yeah.
because I have this one life, I have to get over being embarrassed about being on film or how my voice sounds or if I'm saying the right thing or I'm putting my lips together or if someone's gonna like those outbound DMs. Like
Yeah.
if someone's gonna be like, why are you messaging me? Or ma'am, you're in the wrong state. Oops, my bad, sorry. Like
Yeah.
um and I've just been sticking to that. I've got one life. I want to find joy, and everything I want is on the other side of embarrassment. And how far do I want to go? Like, do I want to be held back by that fear or or being embarrassed or worrying about people think? And I don't. Like, I want to have a fun life, a good life.
Yeah, and that is so big because it's just like even this, right? I remember being just like that, and now like this whole live, I'm so excited. Like I'm so excited. I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait after this is over because now I get to go back, I get to watch it, I get to put these pieces together, I get to clip this. This is so much content that I'll be able to share on my page. Like you just get overwhelmed with like the excitement. Like I love interviewing people. Like I can sit here and don't move, and I can just interview like 10 people back to back to back and not get tired because it's just like reading a book. I You just created a book on here, right? All these questions that I just asked you, right? You can create a book. Like literally, if I took this transcript and put it in ChatGPT, we could create a book from everything that you just talked about,
Yeah.
right? And that's just AI for talking about that for another time. But it's just like when you find that excitement and that love in the thing, and you keep doing it, that overrides like the cringe and stuff like that. So even if you have moments of that, like, oh my god, dang, wait, what was that? Was that something on my eye? Or did I have something on my beard? Or even for you, like, oh dang, was my hair sticking up? Or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
almost like you're just having fun. Like just literally if you was having like a field day, right? Like you're running or you're playing kickball or something like that. Like you're not worried about your hair flying around. You're not worried about somebody looking at you running because it's just like you in that mode, you in that zone. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
but I want to tell you, like you did a very good job. Like the way you conducted yourself on here, it looks like you go live every
Oh
week.
my
You're
God.
comfortable and you're comfortable talking about your story and you shared the real things because I was even like my sobriety and stuff like that. It was really like from like weed, alcohol, but the worst from me was vaping.
Uh,
I could not stop vaping. Oh my god! And it wasn't until God really brought fitness into my life, because I have a very addictive nature. If I have a bad habit, it has to be replaced by a good habit, so that I can get addicted to that good habit, and it'll override that thing. So. And now you just feel so free. Like I'll be in a meeting or something and feel like, oh my god, I gotta go vape. I would be in a movie theater. I have to
um,
bring my vape and hide it under the little blanket that I bring in. Like I just had to vape, and it just felt like it was robbing me of so much freedom. So
yeah,
even though our story isn't the same, and I never take away from anybody to say I know how they felt, but
yeah,
I know a little bit about what it feels like to have this thing that I want to stop doing, and for some reason I keep running to it. It's a comfort
sure.
thing, and then feeling the excitement and the self trust when you trust yourself. Like, yo, I've been sober for this long. I haven't touched this in this long. Like, it just
Good
makes you
try.
feel so empowered. So
Totally. Well, you are a great interviewer, by the way.
appreciate it, appreciate it. Don't lie to me.
Oh, I'm not.
Okay, most definitely. So I appreciate everything that you have shared. When I put up some of the clips and stuff, I'll definitely tag you.
Sounds good.
Um, and I just appreciate you, first from reaching out, even though I'm not in, in Texas
Yeah.
or whatever. But hey, God works in mysterious ways, and I just appreciate you, and I'm sure everybody appreciates you for sharing your story.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you again for asking me for real. Seriously.
Okay, no problem. I might reach out again, so be ready.
I'll be ready. I'll be here.
All right, most definitely. You have a blessed one.
You too. Bye.